Good afternoon, everybody, and happy Monday. I hope everybody had a fabulous weekend. We have started today in Olifants River, and we have some lovely elephants that look like they've come down to the river to feed on the river's edge. It's looking lovely and green, a little bit overcast, and the river's looking like it is nice and full. Lots of rainfall in this area. My name is Kerry Dupree, and I will be your naturalist presenter for the afternoon. Looking forward to seeing what questions we have coming through today. So please don't forget to send through those comments, send through those questions. You can watch us on the app, or if you're on our website, you could register to ask your questions. You can also use WhatsApp. We have a WhatsApp option available to send through those comments, those questions, or you can also use the QR code on screen below. Let me know how your week is. How is your, if everyone enjoyed the sunrise and sunset safaris this last weekend. Lots of lion activity, lions, leopards, some buffalo yesterday afternoon, also on Sandringham. So, it's been a busy weekend on our locations. Let us know if there are any special locations you'd like to check out today. I have got my pen and paper, my bird book, and I'd love to see what birds we can get today here on Live at the Waterhole. I think my record for our bird list, or my bird list at Live at the Waterhole, is 45 bird species in one afternoon. So we'll keep our eyes and ears open. I know we've got some viewers that are really interested to see some of our birds across our different locations. So we'll definitely keep our eyes and ears open for some very special birds today. Hello, Mercedes Bean. Thank you for joining us today. It surely is a happy Monday. It's quite lovely weather today here in Johannesburg. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's perfect weather. So I hope everyone is having a lovely Monday so far. We were talking about warthogs yesterday and how we wish we could take a happy pill that those little baby warthogs take on a Monday morning when you need just that little bit of extra energy to be bouncing and running around just like a tiny baby warthog, full of energy, all sprightly, chasing their tails and playing in the mud. So I hope everyone's Monday has started off just like a happy baby warthog playing in the mud. Fuzzy Dunlop, thank you for joining us today. Hopefully we'll be lucky to have an elephant pool party. This river does seem to be flowing quite strong. I'm not too sure if the elephants will be too keen on crossing if it's a big breeding herd like this, but fingers crossed. Maybe the elephants will come down, have a lovely pool party at one of our locations. Wow, we've got a lot of viewers joining us today. So Penelope Kenyon, hello, thank you for joining us. So definitely looking forward to seeing what else is out there today. Right at the Waterhole. Thank you for joining us, Catherine. I know Catherine's always keen to get some birding done, so Catherine will try to find some birds for you. Dickinson's kestrel is a request I've had for a bird that we get in Wangi National Park over in Zimbabwe. They are quite rare kestrel to see those Dickinson kestrels, and it's a bit difficult from the camera at that watering hole. It's not too close to the watering hole, but we will keep our eyes open for a Dickinson kestrel and any other interesting and unique birds. There might still be some cranes, some grey-crowned cranes, maybe some marabou storks down there. So we'll see what different bird life we can find today. Ari, I hope that you are having a lovely week as well from Netherlands, and I hope you're enjoying your bird book. Ari, I believe you recently purchased a very good bird book, so I hope you've got your bird book close by to help us with some identification of some birds today. Might throw in a little bird poll or a bird quiz here or there. Talking about birds, this is a perfect riverine habitat to look out for some shoreline birds. We've got our elephants feeding. It's a nice breeding herd. They seem to be very calm, very relaxed. I feel like I can hear a pied wagtail. We'll look out for any little three-banded plovers or any little other shoreline birds, maybe some sandpipers. So let's have a bit of a listen to hear what birds we can hear and just enjoy the lovely sound of the Olifants River. definitely getting the sounds of a pied wagtail. I cannot see him, but I can hear him. Got my eyes open. Perfect spot as well for some monitor lizards near the water's edge here. It looks like some nice crocodile nesting banks. Maybe if we're lucky, a crocodile or two. What else do we have out there today? So Catherine, I see Catherine is definitely looking for some new birds. I would also be delighted to get a new bird lifer. I have not had a new bird lifer for quite some time, so it's always exciting to get new bird lifers. Lots to celebrate when you have seen some new birds. Get a lot of the common birds out there that we see on a daily basis, but yeah, once you start getting very familiar with birds and birding, then when you find a new bird, it definitely is quite exciting. So we've got another viewer called Kaz. So Kaz is hoping we see some happy little warthogs playing around in a mud bath. It is really lovely to see these warthogs. We had warthogs. Where did we have warthogs yesterday? I think we had warthogs at Tau, and there was some crocodiles as well yesterday at Tower. So yeah, we'll keep our eyes open for those warthogs. I know Amakala over in Founders, or the camera at Founders Lodge, always a good place for maybe even rhinos to be having a mud bath or a mud wallow. So we have a question from Judith. So Judith is asking us why elephant ears are always flapping. So Judith, elephants, unlike humans... Oh, we've got a bird over there. What bird do we have? Oh, no, it's just an elephant. So I'm getting a bit excited, folks, looking for birds. So Judith, unlike humans, elephants are not able to regulate their body temperature by sweating. So elephants have lots of tiny little blood vessels that run on the insides of their ears, and that's how they cool themselves down. So they flap their ears and cool down all that blood that is circulating through their ears that then goes throughout the rest of their body. So it's a cooling system, a bit of a cooling mechanism for elephants to cool themselves down. Elephants' ears can also be used to demonstrate specific behaviors. So if an elephant shakes and flaps, shakes his head, gives his ears a bit of a flap, whoop, got a hippo. That can also be a bit of a warning system that maybe they are angry or upset or a bit frustrated. Can also warn humans, hey, don't come any closer, you're in my comfort zone, just stay there. So yeah, elephants' ears can also be used to communicate different kinds of body language between each other and also between other species and humans. Got the elephants coming down, hopefully they'll come and have a bit of a pool party for us today. Wouldn't that be fabulous? Oh, it looks like we've got two youngsters that might be interested in going to the water.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature.
So Joanne Miller sent through a comment. She would love to see a crocodile as well as Stony Point. So I'll definitely keep that in mind, Joanne Miller. We'll try and find you some crocodiles. I think over in Madikwe, we probably best chances of seeing crocodile there. And lovely to hopefully see some penguins over in Stony Point. So that'll be great. I am keeping my eyes and ears open. So generally around big breeding herds like this of elephant, some birds that you can find might be associated with elephants and big mammals would be your cattle egrets. I'm not seeing any cattle egrets right now. We're obviously keeping our eyes open for all those little plovers, any wading birds, egrets. African fish eagle sitting up on a tree close by here would also be perfect. So yeah, and it's nice to hear that there are some hippos close by also calling. Speaking about hippos, it'll be lovely to see those hippos. There was a bit of an outbreak, an anthrax outbreak of hippos. I was just reading up on some wildlife news in Africa, so unfortunately there was a bit of an outbreak. So there was an anthrax outbreak that apparently 50 hippos in Uganda have passed away in Virunga. So I know that researchers are working very hard to try to control this outbreak before it spreads to different countries. So anthrax obviously is a disease that does affect hippos and other mammals. I know there was also an outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo quite a few years ago. So yeah, they're trying to control this outbreak. But as far as I'm aware, there hasn't been any dramatic outbreaks of hippo anthrax in southern Africa. It seems to just be in West Africa. So these survivors kind of receive the anthrax through the soil. So it's in areas where anthrax can stay in the soil for many years, areas that might be a little bit lacking of grass. So the hippos end up ingesting quite a bit of soil. That's how the disease can be carried from one vector to another. So yeah, hopefully they will get this outbreak under control very quickly. Oh, check at this elephant. He's taking a nosedive into the water. How delightful. Nothing better to do on a Monday afternoon than watch some happy elephants swimming in the river. I guess this youngster on the left or in the middle here, look, he's obviously had quite a rough day and he just decided that he needed to put his head into the water and lie down on this lovely river's bank. These elephants are very highly dependent on water. They do need to drink on a daily basis, although in extreme cases they can go a few days without drinking water. I hope the sub-adult isn't going to get washed away. It's really in the current there. See how strong that current is? This youngster's probably weighing in at a few tons already. And yeah, that water is pushing so hard. He's not struggling to get that elephant downstream. Such an important part of their social. We'll take a few minutes to just listen to these elephants, shall we? He obviously has a lot to say. Question from Brian. So Brian is asking about elephants and if elephants can leave their prenatal natal group or natal herd and join another herd. So yes, Brian, so generally the females stay together, so you'll have multi-generational generations of females, so grandmothers, mothers and daughters will all stay together, and the males will often split off when they reach sexual maturity and form their own bachelor herds, go off on their own while they kind of socially develop and mature to become big and strong elephant bulls that might be good contenders for searching for a female. So yeah, it's a very important part of elephants' social dynamics. They're very social creatures. You do get these older elephant bulls that might hang out by themselves. They're done with entertaining all the youngsters and they'll go off by themselves, but it's in a young elephant bull's best interest that he finds a bachelor herd to join up with once he's been kicked out of his original birth herd with his mother. So yeah, the females will stay together. So it's lovely to see these elephants here socializing, so important for their social development that they have this time together. There might be a few different breeding herds here, and they've all kind of joined in this area to feed and drink in the same place, and then they might split off as they go into different areas to look for food. So Donna Morgan is asking about these elephants are quite brave swimming in this water when we do know that there are crocodiles in this water. So crocodiles don't really pose much of a threat to these elephants, Donna. Yeah, I mean, even baby elephants I've seen in some of our Africam locations, seen elephants in the water and crocodiles close by. A crocodile would have to be quite brave to take down a little baby elephant when he knows there's a big female elephant close by. So generally crocodiles don't pose much of a threat to elephants. But just as we were speaking about river crossings earlier, crocodiles are opportunistic hunters. So if, for example, there was a herd of elephants crossing a river and one little elephant calf did get separated from the herd, a crocodile surely would take the chance and the opportunity to get a free meal.
Join me, Andrew Wistenholm, for an indescribable 6-night stay in the beautiful Albany of the Eastern Cape at Amakhala Game Reserve. Now, this trip is going to be action-packed with a lot of storytelling, adventure, as well as the opportunity to make everlasting memories. We'll be exploring the best of Amakhala by staying at 2 luxury lodges, which will be the perfect blend of comfort as well as wilderness. Book your spot today and let's get ready to explore the wild beauty of Amakhala.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos, and help us to connect people to nature.
Do you want to know why impala are the most common antelope we find here in the Kruger National Park? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live. Connect with nature.
Hyenas love bathing.
Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Here's Mommy. Elephants do get very distressed when their little ones get stuck in the water, and contrary to everyone's belief, elephants are actually very good at swimming. So they're very buoyant and very capable swimmers, and they do like to spend time swimming and in the water. Oh, hearing a little bit of discomfort here. So sometimes when these elephant breeding herds all get together, there can be a little bit of a commotion between the families. Kimmy, this is a lovely sight. Definitely lots of entertainment here. Could watch these elephants swimming all day. My favorite is always the little babies, of course. They are so cute in the water, but I'm a bit nervous of them today because this current is very strong, so I don't want them to wash away, be separated from their families. But the young bulls also can be quite entertaining. Older bulls and young bulls really like to play in the water. They can be quite entertaining. You just watch them for hours, just kind of getting in touch with their so Peter Pan syndrome side, or their more childhood side, and just playing and having such a great time. Alrighty folks, why don't we head across to Tau and see what wildlife we have there, and maybe if we're lucky we'll find a crocodile or two. Alrighty. Ooh, what's happening here? The zebra does not look chuffed with lion. Oh gosh, okay, we've got some more birds here. So we've got some Egyptian geese coming in at our second bird of the day. It's been a bit quiet, but we have been really enjoying watching our elephants. Ooh, so this elephant, shame, he looks like he's got some broken cartilage in his ear here. Oh, yeah, shame. This old boy, probably a stallion, he could tell quite a few stories. I think he's probably been in a few fights. He doesn't look very chuffed. He looks like quite a grumpy zebra. Guess he didn't have such a great weekend with those ears. So he's probably been in a fight, I would say. And what does happen with zebra, just like horses and donkeys, is if they get a tick infestation in their ears, the ticks can often cause their cartilages to break. But this looks like quite a nasty injury he had there. It's an old injury. So yeah, I'd say he's probably been in a fight with some other stallions. I'd say he came off second best, and he's not very happy about all the flies that are biting him today. It was lovely to see the zebra. Shame, poor guy. He does not look very happy. I don't think I would like to be him today. He definitely looked like he woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Or he's just been really irritated by these flies. So green season in a lot of places in Africa can be a time of the year that is most camps are closed. And one of the reasons, not just because of extreme flooding, bad roads, and wildlife sightings might not be as great, but flies, biting flies, horse flies, tsetse flies, all kinds of flies can also be quite a nuisance. Shame. So he does look like a solitary male zebra that is by himself, or a stallion. So some young impala. Seems to be looking off, well, he was intently staring off into the distance. I'm dying to see the cheetah. I know there's a cheetah that hangs out in this area, and some lions. I've seen them on the Africam Instagram page. Yet to see. I think I have seen lions here before, but it was very briefly. We'll keep a lookout for any birds, crocodiles. Oh, and there's a baby little zebra. Shame. It looks like it must be quite a warm day here in Tau, over in Madikwe. This little baby zebra's got interesting colorations on his head there. So Bianca sends through quite an interesting comment about zebra. Apparently male zebra will bite each other's genitals off in order to prevent mating competition. Yes, Bianca, I think this is correct. I have seen male zebra causing quite what's the right word, gruesome injuries to one another. So just like lions, so male lions, when they're fighting as well, the first kind of two points that they will go for if they're trying to get rid of another male in the areas, they'll try to, one, break the opponent's spine, and two, unfortunately it's quite gruesome, but yeah, they will go for the genitals in order to remove any chance of mating with females in the area. So yeah, male zebra, very aggressive, can be quite nasty in fights too. Yeah, lovely to see some more zebra around. Just would love to see the social dynamics if this, our floppy-eared zebra friend, is actually the stallion of this harem, or if we have another individual. All right, let's look for some birds. Okay, we have some Egyptian geese that we just saw there just now. Would be perfect if we could find some black crakes, common moorhens, white-faced whistling ducks we had here yesterday, African jacanas. Yeah, lots of waterfowl in this area, so yeah, keep our eyes and ears open, see what else is out there. It does concern me a little bit that there's so much reeded vegetation in this pan. It kind of seems to be suffocating the watering hole. I know some reserve managers or conservationists might say that it's not too much of a concern, because in the dry season the waterbuck will come in here. They'll start feeding on this vegetation, so will the elephants, and they'll open it up quite a bit. But it's yeah, it's incredible that you wouldn't actually believe there's water underneath this thick green matted vegetation. So, but again, it does provide a very good food source for lots of animals during the rains. Dry season. Ooh, what do we have there? Is this a bishop of some sort? Could be the golden crowned bishop. Let's have a look. What is he? Beautiful black bird with a yellow crown. Let's have a look. I know red bishops is perfect kind of area for red bishops. I've got yellow crown bishop, but it's not quite the right coloration. So if we have any of our viewers that want to help me on an ID of this very beautiful bird, please feel free to send in an identification. I've got the yellow picture of a yellow crown bishop here, but yeah, it definitely looks a little bit too yellow. Checking distribution as well, it could be. So yeah, anyone, please feel free to send through some IDs to give me a hand there. This very cool bishop could be the yellow crowned bishop. Otherwise, if we have any other identification, please feel free to help correct me. But yeah, look at this beautiful coloration. So black, my images that I've got here, he's a little bit too yellow. Check how beautiful that guy is. Oh, very pretty. So it could be that he's still transitioning. So obviously these bishops during the non-breeding season, they're almost unrecognizable. They're just brown in color, and during the breeding season they then turn to this very plush, beautiful colors, completely transitioning into very dark, very yellow birds. So for now I'm going to go for the yellow crowned bishop, unless any of our viewers maybe have a different ID. It's perfect habitat for them, same as with the red bishops. This is nice reeded thick vegetations for them to make their nests. He's obviously chasing the females around, trying to get their attention. Maybe he's constructed a nest somewhere that he is trying to attract the females to see. Isn't he a pretty bird? Alex, for sure, definitely very loud colours. So I do find it quite fascinating how in the the bird world, how males are normally the pretty ones and they attract the females with all these very interesting and elaborate colours, but also mating displays. I'd love to see the go and see the birds of paradise, and we're in the Amazon. Some of their mating displays are really intricate and beautifully thought out, and yeah, just amazing what the male birds will do to attract some attention of the females. Alright, we got a confirmation from Catherine. She says it does look like a yellow-crowned bishop. Again, my photos on my app here don't look, it looks a lot more yellow than this bird, but again, he could be in a transient phase, and he's still waiting to develop his full adult colors. So yeah, lovely to have another bird to add to the list here. I know we sometimes have a pair of shelled ducks that hang out at this watering hole. We've got some blacksmith lapwings just on the other side of the bank. Where's our crocodile? He was around yesterday. Maybe a little 3-banded plover. I know Tau is a great place to knock off quite a few birds off of our list. Often there is a Natal spurfowl that we can either hear calling or sometimes moving around at the water's edge, but it's so thick now, it's quite difficult to see birds with all this very thick green vegetation. Also keeping a very sharp eye open for this crocodile. They also blend in very well to the environment. Often look like a crocodile just lying there in the water. Whoa, so Catherine, apparently the yellow-crowned bishop is a new bird for Catherine, which is bringing her wild earth bird list to 408 birds. So congratulations, Catherine, new bird for you there. Very, very exciting to get a new bird species on your list. This just looks like maybe a juvenile blacksmith lapwing. Rather unusual, but yeah, very exciting. Glad to add a new bird to your list there. It's definitely been some time since I saw these crowned bishops. You know, in Drakensberg area, you get lots of nice kind of low-lying depressions with water. Reeds is perfect environment for them to nest in, as well as with the red bishops. So Lady Macbeth, yes, interesting you mentioned how birds have this incredible color vision and how many birds can actually see in UV. So there's a lot of discoveries being made recently about birds, but not just birds, birds and mammals that actually have UV in their color, so luminescence that might even glow at night in some species. I was very fascinated by the documentary Night on Earth on Netflix. There is some animaluas, or also known as flying squirrels, in the Amazon, that actually the males have bright luminescent colors on their faces and bodies, and that's how the females can see them in the forest at night during the breeding season. So much study is being done into species, the sound, not just the sights, but also sound, different sounds and communications and infrasound. I mean, we have so much technology nowadays that can pick up on all of this infrasound communication, and also different ways that different species use UV coloration. So scorpions, I've seen crickets and frogs that also have a UV fluorescence at night. So it's incredible that with technology we're learning so much more about animals that we didn't realize. Even flowers and plants as well. Had a great day with Steve the one day we were doing some plants and flowers, and yeah, he showed us some very little flowers over in Juma that have this fluorescence, UV fluorescence at night, that actually attracts moths to the flowers in order to be pollinated. So quite awesome to learn so much about wildlife. Where are these crocodiles? Oop. Got some impala. So it's a nice big male Impala also coming down for an afternoon drink. Nice to see a few zebra here, so it could be a few different harems around. Still interested to see if our floppy-eared zebra friend has a harem of his own, or if he's just a grumpy male zebra by himself. It's a lovely specimen of a male zebra. It's a very stocky boy. So we just got from an update from Penelope Kenyon. Thank you so much for confirming our yellow crowned bishop. Apparently it is on the Tower BirdLife checklist. That is fabulous. It's perfect. Lovely. Yeah, it's always confusing when you're not too sure. Sometimes these transient birds, when they're still transitioning, they might not have their full colors yet. So can be quite difficult, like the red bishops or even the paradise widers, when they don't have their long tails yet and they're still a mottled brown with a bit of black. It can really throw you off from time to time. And then of course you get the melanistic birds and the linguistic birds that might be a pale morph or a darker morph or white or really black. So yeah, birding can be a little bit tricky from time to time. Oh, we've still got our male wildebeest. He was in pretty much the exact same place yesterday. Hasn't moved too much. The solitary wildebeest ball, maybe waiting for some females to arrive. Alrighty, so we had one request for Stony Point, so why don't we head across to Stony Point over in Cape Town, folks, and yeah, see if we can get us some penguins or some little hyraxes.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart. Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today. Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live.
Interesting about, we were talking about elephants and regulating their body temperature. So these little penguins actually have their own form of built-in sunblock. So they have this bare pink skin that is around their eyes. I'm sure you can see there, just above his eye. And this skin actually helps to regulate their body temperature. So it's amazing how different species have different adaptations in order to survive in the ecosystem. So when this pink skin is hot, it the blood flows in this area to cool their body down. It's almost like the penguin's own natural air conditioning system. Isn't that incredible? So Dark Main Lover, thank you for joining us again this afternoon. Yeah, really excited to be here. Another awesome day live at the waterhole, even though we're over in live at the ocean in Stony Point. Yeah, just very special to be able to watch all these different creatures from so many different parts of Africa. So we've got a question from Erica. Yes, Erica, interesting you mentioned about the penguin eggs must be hatching. I did see an update somewhere that there's a photographer who has already managed to capture some of the penguins hatching. So yeah, where did I find that article? But yeah, lovely to know that the penguins are starting to hatch already. So very special time for the penguins, and oh, what have I got? I've got a seal. What's happening there? Oh. All right, we've got lots of kelp. Goodness, I was always struck by Cape Town when I went to Cape Town, and I'm like, what is all of this stuff on the beach? So beaches in Cape Town do have quite a lot of kelp. I believe it's all the currents that are blowing this kelp in from the kelp forests that are underwater. But we'll keep looking for any penguins. Oh, there's a kelp gull, I think. Is that a kelp gull? Yes, sitting on the top of that stump there. Another bird to add to our list. What else is out there today? Any cormorants, any darters? Anything else on the beach? Oh, see some movement. I'd love to see an otter here one day. I don't know if we have any of our Cape Townians watching today that have seen otters down in Cape Town. I know during COVID there was a lot of otter activity and otter movement down in Simonstown. So yeah, I'd love to hear from our viewers, if any of our viewers heard of or have seen otters in Cape Town. I think, if I remember correctly, it could have been a seal, though. I think I got really excited one day because I thought I saw an otter and it was just a seal. So yeah, lots of seals around as well. Send through those comments. When was the last time you saw an otter in Cape Town? Some more seagulls here. There could be grey-headed gulls. We had a bigger kelp gull just now with a little yellow tip on his beak, and then we have the grey-headed gull. Now we're having a look for any of those little hyraxes or penguins. I wonder if this penguin is sitting on some eggs, or if there's some chicks. Perfect little hidey hole for a penguin to nest away from the wind and the waves and any predators. So the African penguins, they don't generally dig a hole. They sometimes just nest in the crevices of these rocks. Perfect place to protect them from all the predators out there, like seagulls or any mongoose. They do have sharing parenting responsibility, so both the male and female penguin will help to incubate the nest. So this could be one of the parents sitting, and the other one could have been the one we were watching just now, and they will probably take it in turns and shifts in order to incubate. So the incubation period for a clutch of eggs is anything between 38 to 42 days. That's when the little chicks will hatch. After the chicks hatch, they are quite fluffy, these really cute little down feathers, and they are fed and taken care of by the parents. And they do form these little creches, very cute little creches of baby penguins that huddle together for safety while their parents are out hunting. It's So this is perfect time for the nesting. So they nest during between March to May and November to December. So I mean, in some areas and some regions, this time frame can alter a little bit here and there, but generally that's when they nest in Cape Town, apparently. Very perfect little hidey spot for these penguins. So we've got a question here from Kaz. So Kaz is asking about the kelp. Yeah, it was, I mean, I've spent a lot more time in South Africa traveling in KZN, along the coast in KZN. So Cape Town was quite I've only been to Cape Town a small handful of times, and to see all that kelp was quite crazy. So Kaz is asking what feeds on this kelp. So yeah, this kelp that they get in Cape Town, so it is a large, very brown seaweed that forms a underwater forest in very cold parts of the ocean. So it is nutrient rich. They do need nutrient rich waters, and it can be fed on by small crustaceans, and fish will nibble at parts of the weed, as well as snails. And in some areas, I'm not sure about this kelp in Cape Town, but obviously in some places, or some types of weed kelp is fed on by humans too, so very good for food, fertilizer, as well as cosmetics. So it's very prominent in a lot of vegan diets at the moment. I know you get kelp chips, or seaweed chips, which are quite delicious, I must say. It's an acquired taste, but very good. Oh, we have some cormorants here and some darters. Hello, some more birds to add to our list today. So Penelope Kenyon's commenting about the otters. So per Cape clawless otter is seen in Cape Town Harbour quite often. So thank you for sending through that comment there, Penelope Kenyon. Glad to see that there are still some otters around. Lovely to see. Gilly is asking about if primates ever eat penguin eggs. Gilly, I wouldn't put it past a baboon. If a baboon did come across a nest, a penguin's nest, they would definitely eat the eggs. Baboons are well known for feeding on most ground nesting birds' eggs, so they can be quite prominently fed on by baboons.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart. At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Would you like to know at what age a buffalo calf gets its horns? These are questions that you can ask me in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Mm-hmm.
The little blue wax balls, the birds calling in the background. They're probably waiting to come down for a nice drink, just like this big elephant bull. Just listen to him as he slurps up this water and splashes himself. I know there's a little family of dwarf mongoose that sometimes, if we're lucky, we see them scuttling down to the water. Love to see some little dwarf mongoose today. Oh, it's such comical little creatures. This big boy is probably tired of hanging out with all those young bulls. That's why he's by himself. He's happy to just roam the bush on his own. Yes, I think it's very special that these big majestic elephant bulls are happy to be in their own company sometimes. I think it's also good for us humans to learn to be in our own company. I get on very well with myself as well. We have lots of conversations. I do argue with myself from time to time, but it is great to be able to spend some quiet time alone and by yourself, just like this big majestic elephant bull. Doesn't seem to be getting on too well with himself at this moment, but I'm sure he'll sort it out. It's crazy that besides these big elephant bull size, and they are surprisingly gentle and calm creatures. Oh, he's giving a bit of unusual behaviors. He's got his ears out there. So just like humans, animals use their body language. So you have the obviously verbal, but also visual forms of communication that animals will use to communicate with each other. As well as communicating with different species. So just like with us humans, we were talking about alarm calls yesterday, and if interspecies can understand, or different species can understand other species' alarm calls, like typical head shake that we were speaking about earlier in the show today. So an impala might not be able to exactly understand what a vervet monkey is alarm calling for, but an impala will know what the alarm call for a vervet monkey is. Just like with us humans, we can understand this elephant. He's throwing a bit of a tantrum with his head and maybe not too happy about something being around him, but if there was another elephant in the area, that other elephant might in a deeper way be able to understand what this elephant is trying to communicate. So important to learn these animals, spend time understanding their body language and their different behaviors. Yeah, this elephant seems to have a little bit slightly agitated behavior, so I'm trying to see if he's maybe in musk, if he's during the time of musk, these elephant bulls are in a bit of an unusual hormonal state of heightened aggression. It's normally driven by their desire for mating, and that's when these bulls can also be alone. They do become quite dominant. They do actively seek out females, and sometimes will challenge other bulls or vehicles that might happen to get in their way. So Penelope said a few years ago they saw a huge herd of elephant bulls swamping this watering hole. Yes, Penelope, I saw a herd of buffalo swamping this watering hole. You couldn't even see any water, you just saw buffalo everywhere. Within minutes there was just buffalo all over the show. It was quite crazy. Kaz is also asking about elephants, if elephants can be stung by bees or any other creatures. So Kaz, elephants do have very thick skin, so it is quite difficult for anything to penetrate through that skin of theirs, although I have seen in the folds of elephants' ears and in between their legs they do from time to time get ticks. Ticks can be a bit of a nuisance. What a lovely cloudy day it is over here in Olifants Game Reserve. Nice clouds building up. I think most of our locations in southern Africa have probably experienced all of the rainfall we're having for the year. Alrighty folks, why don't we head across to Tembe Elephant Park, see if we've got some more elephants waiting for us. Oh, looks like we've got some more elephant bulls having a bit of a mud fest. This elephant on the right seems to have a bit of an itchy leg that he's struggling to satisfy the itch there. So Alex is agreeing with me about we all have to find a way to spend time with ourselves and love ourselves and be happy in our own company so that we can also enjoy other people's companies as well. Yeah, I do particularly like spending time alone after a very long safari. It's always good to just take a bit of a break and just reflect on yourself. Go and do some birding, go for some hiking, just take some time alone like an old elephant bull, just roaming the land, enjoying your own company. So glad you agree with me there, Alex. Dark Mane Lover, yes, these elephants are so calm and relaxed. Here at Tembe, I don't know, our other bull at Rosie's Pan he wasn't in too much of a relaxed state. He could be going into his musk cycle. That's why he's a bit, what would the word be? A little bit agitated or uneasy. These elephants seem to love these mud wallows and these little mud puddles, coming down every day, spending lots of time completely coating themselves in mud to protect their skin from the sun, maybe any insects. See, they splash that muddy water behind their ears, might actually help to dislodge any ticks or any parasites that might be in those cracks and crevices on their bodies that they can't always access. So Alex, yes, insects can be very cruel to one another. Yeah, the insects get a lot of, I feel like most of the world, and especially in the little insect world, is either eat or be eaten. Lots of creatures that feed on each other. So yeah, definitely lots of insects out there. Yeah, I know insect protein is a very big thing that apparently in Cape Town there was an ice cream shop. I don't know if it's still open, but there was an ice cream shop open that sold insect milk ice cream as an alternative to dairy. I don't know if it was very popular. I don't know how they got the insect milk, but it was basically ice cream that was made solely from insects. Apparently the protein is very high in insects, higher than protein that you might get in vegetables. So yeah, very high in protein, some of these insects, especially like those flying ants or the elates. That's why during the rainy season you get these flushes of all these Dickinson's kestrel. Actually in Wangi, that would be a perfect time to find your Dickinson's kestrels in the rainy season. Lots of kestrels and kites and all kinds of birds that come down to feed on these termites that are very high in protein. They're like little protein bars of the bush. I've seen hyenas eating the termites. I've seen palm nut vultures sitting on the tops of termite mounds eating the little elates. So yeah, very high in protein, some of these termites. You can see this old bull has rather tattered ears, many years moving around in very thick bush. They can, yeah, the ears can get ratty-tatty like that from all the thorns and vegetation that they have to constantly move through. Sometimes their cartilage can even break in elephants' ears, and they have a complete floppy ear. I think there is a floppy-eared elephant here at Tembe, a cow and also a bull that come down. Obviously they're very easy to identify, so the ears flop forward or flop over. So yeah, it can be a hard life out there for these elephants. So they have incredible immune systems that help to keep them alive, keep them going, and recover from all kinds of ailments. And of course an incredible memory that helps them to remember what plants to feed on when they get sick. We've got our sombre greenbill calling in the background there. We do have our Egyptian geese already on our list, but I do love hearing the sombre greenbill here at Tembe. I'd love to see our little bee eater. It's been a long time since I've seen those two bee eaters or the pied kingfishers. We had some woolly neck storks here yesterday at Tembe, so it'd be great to see those woolly neck storks as well. I see the mast weavers are no longer nesting in this tree. There were some weavers that were constantly busy nesting up in one of these big trees near the edge of the water here. So Deb Davis, thank you for sending through your question, Deb Davis. Yes, Deb, I think I could probably ride a horse before I could walk, and I think my first big fall was when I was probably less than 5 years old. I had this beautiful grey horse that just took off down our driveway and just forgot to take me with it. So yeah, I've been riding horses for quite some time, Deb Davis. I don't know if you're also a horse rider, Deb. I'd love to know what kind of horse discipline you are involved in. I used to play polocross for Zimbabwe and Zambia, but yeah, now I've just been doing horseback safaris for the last probably about 6 or 7 years now. Ooh, we got a giraffe, folks. That's pretty cool sighting for Tembe. We did have some impala as well. Lovely to see some impala, but don't see giraffe very often at Tembe. Well, actually we had a giraffe yesterday, but still very special to see a giraffe. So Dark Mane Lover is sending through a comment about no insect protein for you. I don't know, the thought of ice cream that's made from insects and it's not vegan or vegetarian at all, but it's more of a milk alternative, still doesn't quite, I don't think, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that shop in Cape Town is no longer open, a store that used to sell insect protein ice cream. I know you get a lot from worms as well. There's some worms that you can also make protein powder from, but I don't know, it just kind of makes my stomach curdle if you think of, like, imagine a worm protein bar or insect protein bar. A little cockroach there or a little worm, not the most appetizing thing, but some of these creatures out in nature, lots of birds, all the little pangolins and aardvark, that's just what they love, what they need to eat, what they need to use to sustain their diet. So I guess yes, everything in the world needs to be eaten by something. Everything has its purpose. Everything falls into the circle of life. Just like this acacia tree is being nibbled on by this female giraffe. Sounds like we had a red-billed spurfowl calling there. I can also hear our buffalo weavers. No idea where they're calling from, but I'm sure there's probably a tree that they're nesting in somewhere close by. I also haven't seen any of our kingfishers or bee eaters here at Tembe for quite some time. I know I haven't been on live at the waterhole for a bit, but be good to hear some European bee eaters. We've got our little brown hooded kingfisher that sometimes hangs out in these trees close to where the camera is, but I have also seen him near where this giraffe is feeding as well. Very beautiful female giraffe. Seems to have spotted something. Perfect habitat here for nyalas. We do often see a nyala here at Tembe Elephant Park around this pan and watering hole. Perfect, nice, a thick wooded environment for a nyala to hang out in. And goodness, our Zumi has been very cooperative today in helping us look for some birds up in this tree. It's perfect. Oh, there he is. Hello, little guy. We were just talking about you. Looks like a little brown hooded kingfisher. They normally are quite... Oh, off he goes. Probably going to come back with a little grasshopper. Have his little...
South Africa's wild places are closer than you think because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our FedAir lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild.
Would you like to know the difference between a male and female wildebeest? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
How cool is this?
Still had quite a bit of learning to do before he was able to take care of himself, but maybe he's moved to another watering hole in the area. Alright folks, why don't we head across to Elephant Pan over in Botswana and see what herbivore has come down for a drink. Ooh, got a kudu that has come down for a drink. And interesting, he's actually practicing. Either he's eating some fruit on the floor, or he could be practicing what's known as geophagia. So this is a practice whereby animals or any creatures will feed on soil to absorb some vitamins and minerals. So here in Botswana, Elephant Pan, formerly known as Hyena Pan, very high in minerals and soils, minerals and salt. The salt in this water here is actually so strong that when you have your tea or coffee, you feel like someone's put half a teaspoon of salt in your coffee. It is a very unique taste, I must say. But yeah, so very high in salt, so a lot of salt pans, a lot of underlying salt in the sand in this area. So he's probably licking the sand here to absorb some of those salts and minerals. The mapanis are looking green, lovely, lush and green, perfect habitat for a kudu to live. Be very careful, Mr. Kudu, if you're by yourself. A lot of hyena, there's quite a high hyena density in this area, so I think there's a few dens around, and the wild dogs do frequent this pan from time to time. So they'll come from the Kwai Private Reserve, which is a community reserve, or from Moremi Private Game Reserve. So yeah, on the one side of this concession you've got this private concession, community concession, Kwai Private Concession, or Moremi Private Game Reserve, where there are no fences, so the dogs, the lions, all the animals can move freely from one area to the next. And I do believe the dogs do come through this pan quite often. Kudu would make a perfect snack for the wild dogs. So he's not a fully grown male kudu, this guy. He's still got a bit of filling out to do. He's not looking like he's in the best shape, so do get bachelor herds of kudu, but if he's by himself, it could be the reason why he's a little bit thinner, a little bit more stressed or aware and alert of his surroundings, doesn't have as much time to feed. So it'd probably be in his best interest if he meets up with a few other male kudu and forms a bit of a bachelor herd to help protect himself. So dark mane lover, yes, some private reserves do put out salt licks or mineral blocks for the animals. I don't think in Botswana it is necessary in most of the camps, because there's just so much natural salt in the sand and soil. So I've stayed at elephant pan before, or hyena pan, and even if you lick your fingers and touch the soil there and lick your fingers again, the sand is very, very salty. So in areas like hyena pan, elephant pan, it's not really necessary to put salt out, but a lot of other private reserves might utilize natural salt licks or sodak areas in order to attract animals and maintain the salt. And normally these areas should be protected areas, because sodak areas are very vulnerable to being either eroded or compromised by vehicle tracks. So it's very important that we protect these natural sodak areas for wildlife, and introduction of salt is sometimes done as well. Alrighty folks, why don't we head across the tower and see what is waiting for us there. Oh, so we've got lots of zebra here at tower today. Lovely to see all these zebra together. Loving the daisies in the background there, those yellow flowers. I think it's one of the yellow daisies, a weed in some areas, but it's definitely attracting a lot of butterflies, a lot of insects. So we had a question from William. So William's asking, does a high salt diet affect animals in any way? So yes, William, in some ways a high salt diet can definitely affect animals, both wild and domestic, so in various ways depending on the species. So the environment obviously we're speaking about different environments have different salt content, so salt is very essential in order to build a balanced diet for most animals as well as humans. So they do need the salt, they need the sodium, they need that chloride in order to help protect their nerve and muscle function, for fluid balance as well as cell health. So that's the reason these animals need to seek out these natural salt licks. It also helps with their bones, and yeah, so a very important part of their diet. But yeah, it can have negative effects if they do feed on too much salt. But that's why animals, especially wild animals, are very good at maintaining and regulating their bodies and knowing what their bodies need in order to survive. Impala's very clever, I must say. Have a look here. So he's drinking out of a small rock pool, which is away from the main pan itself, so that he has less chance of a crocodile coming out to snatch him for lunch. Because one of these big crocodiles, they definitely love to feed on a male impala. It would be a great meal for lunch. So lovely to see all these zebra, so nice and green here at Tower at the moment. Lovely fresh vegetation or fresh greenness after all the rains we've just been having. So we saw a baby zebra just now that had quite a dark face. So sometimes when these little babies are younger, the foals, zebra foals, this dark face does help them in order to blend in better with the dappled light of grass, so when they're camouflaging. But as that soft baby fur of theirs is kind of shed, they do then get their full stripes and coloration on their face. So these little foals can generally stand within minutes of being born and run within an hour of being born, and that's in order to evade predators. So they do have to very quickly memorize their mother's unique stripe pattern as well as her scent, so imprinting on her in order to be able to find their mother at all times. Alright folks, I think there's more activity over at Elephant Pan. Let's go back to Botswana and see what's happening there.
Chidzana na tsima ra ntumbuluko.
Join the Wild Earth Explorers program and connect with a community passionate about wildlife. Support our mission to share authentic wildlife experiences with the world. Your monthly contribution helps provide schools and children access to kids safaris, fostering a love for nature in the next generation. Embrace the wonders of the bush and make a difference today. Wild Earth, connecting with nature. Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
So Hudson, this is a lovely surprise. It's a lovely surprise, Hudson, to see these elephants here all coming down. Alright, but I think they're going to disappear. So why don't we head over to Founders and see maybe if we're lucky we can get a warthog having a mud wallow. So here's our warthog. So we were talking about warthogs this morning and how warthogs, this little baby warthogs, have bundles of joy and have so much energy. It would be great if you could take a little pill of energy, just like these warthogs do. You can run around and bounce all over the show. But it seems like our warthogs are not too keen to hang around. Maybe we missed their mud bath. Always Murphy's Law. Alright, well, I was hoping maybe we might still see a rhino or something, but it is looking quite quiet here over in the Eastern Cape. A very gloomy and loomy afternoon. So why don't we head back across the Tau, see if we can pick up a few more birds around the watering hole. Wow, check out all these zebra. Almost like a mini migration. Lots of zebra around the pan here. I'm trying to see that. I don't know if there's a cattle egret. I was hoping it was a cattle egret, but I think it might just be a white rock, maybe a quartz rock. Nice to see Mr. Wildebeest has decided to stand up a bit. Shame he's looking a bit dry and lethargic. I hope he looks like he's had a bit of an exhausting weekend, because he was already very non-mobile yesterday, this male wildebeest. Maybe he had one of those very long weekends and is just not looking forward to moving around too much today. And the flies are really bothering the zebra here today. There's lots of flies around, lots of green grass, lots of larvae and insects are hatching at this time of year. Let's keep an eye out. What birds can we find? What birds are there? Oh, there we go. We have a great white egret. So we did have a great white egret yesterday at Victoria Falls Safari Lodge that made a kill for us. That was pretty exciting. Oh, check, there's a zebra in the water. I don't know if I would be in the water, although this section of the pan is quite sticky and muddy. I don't know if the crocodile would take a chance to try and go for a zebra. This egret is very persistently and patiently waiting for a meal, waiting for maybe some insects to move in the grass. I want to say a big thanks to our Zoomies today that are helping us with our birding mission. It's definitely teamwork makes the dream work, so thank you to the Zoomies for helping us with our birds today. Some lovely great white egret coming at number 16 on our birding list for the day. So they'll feed on small fish, crustaceans, little insects, frogs. Oh, shame, I've seen these egrets catching frogs that are quite a little bit too big. One would think a bit too big for them to swallow, but somehow they managed to find a way to swallow them, just like hummerkops. Oh, looks like he got some little grub of some sort. So yeah, hummerkop, when they catch frogs, obviously I think hummerkops must have had some French descent, because hummerkops love their frogs. I know the French are very popular with the frog's legs. It's quite a delicacy in France. So yeah, the hummerkops will, even if they catch a frog that's too big, they will yeah, unfortunately thrash him on a rock or thrash him around a little bit to get him to be big enough for them to swallow. Whoop. They'll also feed on little larvae, interesting little larvae of dragonflies as well if they find them. But yeah, fish, it's always lovely to see these egrets catching fish. They're so calculating and patient in the way they very slowly move through the vegetation, use that very cunning eyesight of theirs. Whoop. Watching a few great white egret kills here. Looking out for our crocodile if he's anywhere around. So this great white egret is not just a pretty face, they're also known for their very elegant bird-like behavior. They're very recognizable by their pure white feathers, their long necks, as well as that very long sharp bill. So the height of these egrets is about 1 meter, or about 3 to 3.3 feet tall. They do have a wingspan of up to 1.5 meters or 5 feet. So it's quite an impressive little egret. I know he doesn't look too impressive from here, but I do like their eyes. They've got these very unusual eyes, and they use the ambush mechanism for catching their prey. They are quite a widespread species and very adaptable to different environments. So they spread across Africa, Europe, Asia, as well as the Americas, and fresh water as well, and coastal regions. So very adaptable to different areas. So they normally reside in pans, river, estuaries, and even your coastal regions, so coastal lagoons and pans. And then during the breeding season, I do love how all these egrets become very beautiful and elaborate in the breeding season. They will grow very long, delicate plumes, normally from their back, very fluffy and wispy, which are called aretes. And these will be used to fan in order to display and attract the females. So yes, I agree with you, Lady Macbeth. These egrets are very elegant birds. Such long necks too. So when they're trying to triangulate their prey, they'll do a head bobbing side to side method, and that's how they triangulate the exact location of their prey. So Deb Davis, this egret would be quite alert and aware of where the crocodiles are in this pan. Again, I don't think an egret is on the top of a crocodile's list of menu of food that he would like to eat in a day, but I have seen crocodiles on documentaries eating egrets, so if he's hungry enough, a crocodile surely would take out this egret, so you'd have to be quite careful of where the crocodiles are for sure. So Julian Thompson is asking if this is a great white egret or a yellow-billed egret. Apparently the gaping line that extends back past its eyes. So I'm just having a look at the pictures between the yellow-billed egret and the great white egret. Shucks, these names for these birds change so regularly. It's quite hard to keep up sometimes, but thank you so much for that, Julian. I'm just having a look on my birding app here to have a look, see. I know between the egrets, yeah, there's so many egrets. You get the little egret, you get the intermediate egret, the cattle egret's the easiest one. So it's quite a variety of egrets here. But yeah, let's have a look, see between the great white egret and the little egret. So definitely, yeah, looks like it could be the yellow-billed egret. So thank you for that, Julian Thomas. It's quite, keeping up with all these egrets in different parts of the country is, sometimes a bit of a mission when they're changing their names very regularly. So yellow-billed egret. And again, very interesting how they change color, their bills, or the coloration around the eyes changes during the breeding season. So Mindy, thank you for joining us this afternoon. We have had quite an entertaining afternoon so far. We've had lots of elephants across our locations. We were trying to see if we could get some wallowing warthogs, but elephants seem to be the flavor of the day. We also went across to Stony Point, had some penguins. We did have one penguin on the nest, which was a treat to see. Now we are doing some more birding. Oh yes, and our bird of the day was the yellow-crowned bishop. Very exciting bird of the day. Hoping to snatch up a few more birds in the last half an hour. So before we head over to Rosie's pan, I've got a few more birds we can tick off our list here. I've got the white-faced whistling duck just on the right. Oh, is it a common moorhen? What is that? Coot, it could be a coot. Just trying to have a look. So we've got two Egyptian geese, and then I don't know if this is a moorhen. Oh no, it's a coot. So it's a red-knobbed coot that's down on the right-hand side of this thick reeded vegetation here. Another bird to add to the list for the day. We can head over to Rosie's pan now and see what else has come down to the watering hole. Oh wow, check, it's a red-billed hornbill that has a kill. Oh my goodness, please, viewer discretion is advised if you have a bit of a sensitive stomach. This hornbill has made a kill. He has a giant grasshopper. Oh, we've also got a squirrel. And he's trying to swallow this giant grasshopper. Wow, that is a very big grasshopper for such a little bird. So yeah, little juvenile red-billed hornbill, everyone, that has just swallowed quite an impressive grasshopper or locust, and that's his afternoon snack, afternoon tea, which I'm also delighted to have some afternoon tea soon. But he's going to be a little bit uncomfortable with that locust going down his throat for a few moments. But yeah, awesome sighting there. I don't see that every day, this red-billed hornbill. Whoop, and we've got a Cape glossy starling. Also coming down for an afternoon drink. It's quite an impressive kill for that little hornbill. So these hornbills will nest in cracks and crevices and trees. Mopani trees are perfect places for them to nest. Normally the nesting is kind of just before the rainy season starts, like end of dry season, November. Oh, we've got a house sparrow, common house sparrow, just in the background, that's just ducked into the vegetation. Yeah, so these little hornbills will reside inside the crevices of these mopani trees, or leadwoods are perfect. The parents will feed them through that little crack, and then when they're ready to come out, then they'll actually break away the mud that they would have made to conceal the hole. They'll break out that mud, and then the youngsters come out. And it's quite interesting. Some of these hornbill species in the Amazon, actually, the first time they fly is when they come out of this nest. Imagine they've never flown before in their lives, and they have to now launch themselves from these trees that are 20, 30, 40 meters tall, and yeah, somehow manage to either have a crash landing or very quickly learn how to fly. Little laughing dove coming down at bird number 21 for the day. So Calvin, that is very cool to see a little red-billed hornbill feeding on a locust or grasshopper. So I was just saying, the breeding season, so these little hornbills are probably not more than about 6 months old. This one's obviously already by himself, fending for himself. But yeah, I do feel very sorry for those hornbills in the Amazon that have to, after being in a nest in a tree for what it's normally about 2 to 3 weeks after they've hatched, then once they're fledged 4 weeks later, then they have to plunge themselves out of these incredibly tall trees, and hopefully they have a soft crash landing. But yeah, very successful bird family across the world.
Zitatamana wena, moya wa mina, ukomba wena, takuranza loko tamana wena.
It's been a great morning out and about and exploring.
It's amazing. It's very hard to explain what this feels like.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website. Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Just having a look for this Hartlib's babbler so I can play the sound for you here. So Hartlib's babbler is more commonly found up in Zambia, Botswana. So yeah, let me play this call of the Hartlib's babbler for you here. Oh, and we have another bird here. So we've got the two buffalo weavers that have just come down. So I'll add that to our list for the day. But yeah, in the meantime, let's head back across to Hyena Pan or Elephant Pan, see what our elephants are up to. Amazing how one moment come to this location and there's elephants everywhere, next minute there's just one or two elephant bulls roaming around. It's still such a lovely venue, sort of lovely location, beautifully situated camp. It's probably one of my favorite camps in Botswana. If you have not been to Botswana and you want to plan a trip, I would definitely recommend staying at the natural selection camps, one being High Elephant Pan. Very, very special close enough to Moremi Private Game Reserve that you can do day trips in the park, concession drives, and as you can see, lots of wildlife actually come into camp. I think I stayed at Elephant Pan for 4 nights, and every night we had at least 1 or 2 hyenas in camp, if not bumping into them when you walk into your tent. So it's a very busy and wild camp, I must say. So dark mane lover, I'm not aware that South Africa has any shoe-billed storks unless they're in a zoo, but for me that doesn't really count. So the shoe-billed storks that you want to find will be in South Luangwa and in Uganda. So I know there are some, obviously in South Luangwa would be your best option because they are more wild pairs, should we say. And then in Rwanda, I know on a lot of birders itineraries there's in Queen Elizabeth National Park there is one breeding location with some shoebill storks. So if you're not a birder, shoebill stork is an incredible bird, very rare and endangered bird species, massive birds, very much protected, and yeah, very few places that they do actually occur. And a lot of birders, if you go to Rwanda and you don't see the shoebill stork in a natural, in Queen Elizabeth National Park, then there is a zoo in Kigali that you can go to see them in a sanctuary. But again, it will be in a sanctuary. But that might, yeah. So those are the 2 kind of locations I know of that you can go for the shoebill storks at dark mane lover. So yeah, we're just trying to see what's happening at some of our other locations. Why don't we head across to Tau and check out our impala. So just before we left Elephant Pan, we did have an emerald spotted dove that was vocalizing. Got a nice a group of male impala, or some impala rams. Nice to see that all the animals are very fit, looking healthy. Blacksmith lapwings here. These young impala rams are all together, lots of different ages, lots of different groups. So these bachelor groups can also be a training group where these males will be sparring with each other, learning about dominance behavior, and also preparing for future breeding opportunities. So yeah, it's like a little boys club. So Julian Thomas is sending through a comment about the shoebill stork. So Bamba wetlands in Uganda is where the birding tours go through for the shoebill storks. Yeah, I know it's very hard to find those birds. Shucks, but incredible birds to be able to see. Yeah, they're out in the wetlands there. No, shoebill stork is definitely on my list. I would love to one day be able to go find the shoebill storks. They're quite difficult birds to photograph, I must say, but they are a very bizarre bird, very prehistoric looking. So go give the shoebill stork a Google if you want to see what our birders are chattering about. Yeah, so they do live in pairs, so male and female. They're kind of known as the statue birds because they can stand very quietly and silently for very long periods of time without moving. And it's not actually a stork despite its name, so it's more closely related to pelicans and herons than a true stork. So they're classified in their own family. and specifically swamp habitat. That's why their numbers are declining, because of their habitat loss. So they do prefer to live in very dense papyrus marshy areas, and that's a perfect habitat for them. They'll generally lay between 1 to 3 eggs on a floating nest in these wetland areas. Unfortunately, only one chick does survive. So I know there's lots of documentaries about the siblicide or infanticide in these birds, because the parents will stop feeding the younger chicks, and then the older sibling will actually start to beat up and batter the younger chicks, causing them to end up dying. So it's not very it's very sad to think about it, but it's all about survival of the fittest, and the other chicks, the eggs, are more just like an insurance policy to make sure there's some high survival rate. They do look pretty much like dinosaur birds if you have a look at these shoebill storks. Right, just talking about birds, where are our crakes? Normally there's perfect habitat or vegetation here for the black crakes or the common moorhens. We got our red-knobbed coot. Our eyes open on this vegetation. So we got a comment from Richard B. So Richard B is saying, apparently the hummerkop is the closest relative of the shoebill, and yes, you are correct. So the hummerkop is a very close relative of the shoebill, so very interesting. It's an unusual order of birds that they're related to. So hummerkop is a close relative. Pelicans, herons, and ibises are actually more closely related to the shoebill stork than actual stork. So thank you very much for that, Richard B. Where are these birds? Lots of lily pads. Perfect place for our lily trotters, African jacana, to be roaming up and down on these lilies. Where are our little lily trotters? Also known as Jesus birds, the African jacanas. We haven't seen our crocodiles today as well, but as this pan slowly becomes more and more inundated with vegetation, I'm not surprised that we are having difficulties finding our crocodiles. We are crocodiles. Just because you do not see them, it does not mean that they are not there. It's one big mistake a lot of people might take by thinking, oh, there's no crocodiles in here, and go jump in the water and very quickly see how the crocodiles just erupt from their little hidey spots very quickly. So dark mane lover, you're more than welcome. The shoebill stork is a very interesting bird, very intricate, and again very unusual prehistoric dinosaur looking bird. What bird do we have? Could be one of the female yellow crowned bishop, maybe.
ngiyathemba utatama na mina.
This week, we celebrate our planet and the power of nature. It's all about the drive to power our planet by harnessing nature's energy. Join us live as we explore the exciting world of wild power. Earth Week, only on Wild Earth.
Shame. So many flies and insects right now. See the zebra's swishing his tail, trying to get rid of those flies. I'm not too sure why the zebra and this wildebeest are next to each other. They're just maybe keeping each other company. Or maybe the zebra is taunting this wildebeest for some reason, trying to get rid of his flies. Trying to have a listen if we can hear any other birds calling today. Maybe add a few more birds to our list. I'm sitting at 23 birds for today. If you see on the inside of this zebra's legs, he's got a little scaly hard patch that's called an apricot, and it's helpful for the zebra when they're lying down, when they're resting, so their hooves don't cut into their legs. So these little hard callus spots, very interesting name, little apricot on the inside of both of their front legs. It helps them to prevent their hooves from cutting into their legs. See, this poor acacia tree has been really demolished by the elephants. It was standing last year. I think before. Oh, yep, there we go. We got another bird, folks. Thank you to our Zoomy for helping us get another bird for the day. So that's putting us in number 24. We have a few minutes to the end of the show, so I think I'm gonna, I'm gonna ask our viewers if you can identify this bird for me. I know which bird it is. So if you want to send through your comments on which bird it is, okay. We'll hear what our viewers have to say. So then you can use the QR code on screen. So he's a little water bird. He's not showing us his belly, but he does have some stripes there, some little bands, which is giving a bit of his name away. Look at the very thick band, red eye. Very cool little bird. I have been looking for him today, so I have mentioned his name a few times. So let's see if any of our viewers can send through the identification on this plover. So Gilly, yes, this is a plover. I'd love to know which plover is this plover. So we have a few minutes until the end of the show. He's a very cute little plover. He's got some bands, he's got red eye, often hang out solitary, or sometimes you find them in pairs. There we go, Gillian Thompson, thank you for sending through the identification on this plover. This is a 3-banded plover. You do get a Forbes plover in West Africa that is very similar to this three-banded plover, which I thought was a three-banded plover for about 2 months, and then when I had a closer look realized three-banded plover. So yeah, well done Deb Davis as well for sending through an ID on this three-banded plover. Always good to just keep fresh on our birds, keep our bird memory box up to date. Always freshening up on the bird calls, the bird sounds, especially the plovers in your area. If you are birding in a new area, you can also go over to the eBird website and you can download bird lists for different areas. I'm sure BirdLife South Africa also has bird lists for different regions, but I do use eBird quite a lot for the birds in different areas. eBird, you can also use the offline eBird app to record your birding lists when you're out in the bush or out on safari, and then when you go online you can then upload the list at a later stage. So yeah, few little bird fun facts for you, or birding fun facts if you're a new birder or getting into birding. It's always helpful to have these apps that are offline, because I never understand apps that don't work on when you're offline. So it's great, the eBirding app, the offline app that you can create your list. When you go online, then you can submit the list at a later stage. Just be quite sure and accurate of the birds that you're recording, that you're sure of the identification. Still hoping to get a last few birds before the end of the show. Just have a few minutes left. Where are these birds? But anyways, it's lovely to see these impala. It's a nice, very healthy looking impala in the sunshine. It's been a lovely day, nice and warm, but not too hot. Hopefully none of these impala become crocodile lunch. Got our blacksmith lapwing, so he's already on our list, I think, this guy, number 4, blacksmith lapwing. What is he up to there in the reeds? Just giving himself a clean. Egyptian goose. It's been a lovely birding day, hasn't it? So 24 birds. We've got 24 birds for the day. Not too bad, considering we had a lot of other sightings. I just want to say thank you to Darkmane Lover, Spas Incarve and Richie B for your comments, and everyone else that has joined us today. Thanks to our production team here, MC team in Johannesburg, to all of our Zoomies for helping with our birding day. It's been quite a successful birding day. Lots of really good elephant sightings, which is always a pleasure to watch the elephants having a bit of a swim and a splish and a splash. Lots of zebra. Nice to go over to Stony Point and check out some of our locations. So I will be joining you tomorrow live at the Waterhole as well, folks. So looking forward to seeing you at the same time, same place tomorrow. Don't forget to tune in to the Sunset Safari coming up next from me and the rest of the Wild Earth team. I wish you a happy Monday afternoon. Cheers, cheers, folks.